you know what? We're gonna have a whole lot of new music next week because Westside Gunn just released a tweet, not a tweet. He doesn't do that really. He might have put a tweet out too, but I was following on Instagram. He said the side B is coming out, and it has a host of features and a host of production. He released the production credits and he released the features. We got Jay Electronica, 2 Chainz, Tyler the Creator, Stove God Cook, Benny, Conway, Amani Caesar, just to name a few. We got Flea Lord on there too. Just some names that just standing out for me. We got Derringer on the production. We got Alchemist on the production. We got Madlib on the production. We got DJ Green Lantern on the production. Huh. Hey,
He's done
look.
stuff with Mad Lib before, the Gun Lib record. Remember Gun Lib?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I remember that.
listen, I was looking at what Westside was saying in this interview he had with Nadeska on Apple Music, and it was trending. And the reason why I actually saw it is because he made that statement about he would like to executive produce the Jadakiss album. And we're gonna get to that in a minute too. But a lot of the stuff that he was saying in that interview, man, he was talking like side A was kind of like a tester. Like he was like, I just threw that out there just to see if people was fucking with what I'm doing, and I knew that Drake and Kanye would come in, so I was like, went ahead and threw that out there, and he was like, man, people talking about that's an album of the year contender. He was like, side B is way better.
I mean, it's a dope record.
Uh huh.
It's the best thing that he's made since Pray for Paris, if you actually want to put it in its full context. It's not an album of the year contender. And it's like I said, even with all the stuff that I felt like could have been done better, I felt like it was a really solid 4, which is what it is. I'm still playing Vogue cover, Spoons, Westheimer, and what's the and Bash Money. I'm still playing those records.
Yeah.
I'm playing Mariota a little bit sometime too.
Okay.
So he's got some stuff on there. Vogue cover is my joint, Mike. Like
Everybody loves Vogue cover. I'm with you on that.
Mike, I was on 285 a couple weeks ago, and we were like in a little bit of traffic, and like the part broke down where Levert comes in, and like these dudes were in the expedition next to me, and they was looking at me like, what? And then Stove came in, and they were oh, I was like,
I kind of, it's funny, man. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe when this album dropped, I was thinking it was going to be a double album altogether. So I was slightly underwhelmed by side A. Not saying it was weak or anything, but again, you know what my barometer is. My barometer is Pray for Paris, right? And I feel like that's somewhere where Westside's barometer is when we talk about this second part, right? And so he was talking about side A kind of like how I felt about side A when I heard it. And I have the feeling that side B is going to be what I was expecting from the jump. So I think side B is going to be a little bit more Pray for Paris-ish.
so
Yo, Terminator, shout out to you. He said, salute Mike, salute Coop.
what up, fam?
What up? Go ahead.
So let me ask you something, Mike.
Right.
What do you think Westside's second best project is? Since we're just kind of going here right quick, like, what do you think because Mike, I'm gonna tell you something. I want to shout out my man Kendron Bryant, who like runs the hip hop sports group. He's like the author of the group that like I'm in, and he made a couple of poignant comments. We had a long dialogue last night, but one of the poignant comments that he made that we've agreed with is like the level that Pray for Paris is at, because we were talking about KD2. And I was like, well, Pray for Paris and Daytona are the only albums that I know that are better than KD2 in the last 5 years. And he was like, yeah, pretty much.
This is the thing. And I would say Supreme Clientele is...
Pray for Paris isn't a regular level is what I'm saying.
It's not. And Supreme Clientele would be my answer to your question. But I think that Westside has incredible ears. That's why I would love for him to executive produce Jada's album. We saw what he was able to do with From a King to a God with Conway. But he knows how special Pray for Paris is. And I think he knows for him, that's the level. I think he knows that. I think that because he described himself in the interview in Nadeska as a curator. He was like, we know that out of the crew, Conway and Benny, they the rapper's rapper. I'm here to be the curator. I'm trying to be the best curator in hip hop. I'm not trying to be the best hip MC ever.
Yeah.
And I think that you could tell Pray for Paris was what it was, right? And I think that um, 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 I'm sorry, the one that came after it, it slips me. I see the cover in my head right now. You know what I'm talking about? Fly God 2. Fly God 2 was supposed to be for the streets, right? And honestly, I think that, Who Made the Sunshine was like, look, this is an album I got to give Shady. Here you go. You know what I'm saying?
I told you he approached that album like more of like an actual piece of artwork.
Right.
In terms of approach, stylistically.
Right. And he says that, again, he's really, really into, his art galleries and things of that nature. But, he's about being a curator. And I think that he understands that Pray for Paris is his best work. I think that, in my opinion, it's always really gratifying for me when I hear from artists and their favorite song from themselves is what I think is my favorite song from them. I think I was hearing, I know somebody that runs with Public Enemy or whatever, and he was saying that Welcome to the Terror Dome was Chuck D's favorite song. And I'm like, cool, we're on the same page. I think that Ghostface understands that Supreme Clientele is his best album, right? I think that Busta knows that ELE is his best album. That's why we have a sequel to it. And so, even when I hear Jay-Z mention his top 3, it's pretty much in line with what I think too. So I think that Westside knows that Pray for Paris is different, and that's the mark for him.
I mean, you can say that, but I mean, I just don't know how fair to think that he's about to do necessarily Pray for Paris. I think From a King to a God is more attainable, and so what I would pose to you,
you see this lineup? This lineup's crazy.
I mean, lineup doesn't necessarily dictate how it's going to fall, although I do find him to be the best beat picker post Rick Ross's prime. And as far as artist placement, I mean, I think he showed on Pray for Paris and From a King to a God. Well, if he's the guy responsible for doing the placements and the order and the songs and the sequencing, well, he's pretty goddamn masterful at it. So I'm not saying that he can't. I'm just saying like albums like Pray for Paris don't come along very often. Like if he
in
makes
consecutive years, right?
if he makes something comparable to Pray for Paris, he will like done something that like quite frankly, MCs that are considered to be in an echelon above him have done if he does that, because that will be like executive producing or be the author of like 2 or 3 classics in like 2 or 3 years, like certified classics, Mike. Not like what you Q-Tip as a classic, like whatever. Like Mike, that's what I'm saying. Like it's rare air. Not a lot of guys have like done that on an artist level, producer level. Q-Tip does come to mind, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, you got People's Instinctive and Low End Theory back-to-back years, and then you got Midnight Marauders like a year after that.
Hey, Mike, you want to know what I did this past week, though?
What's that?
I went and listened to People's Instinctive Travels, Just About You, and this never-ending argument that we have about it. Mike, it is a classic because there's just too much classic stuff on there to deny it. There are other albums that have been labeled classic that don't have the classic songs that People's Instinctive Travels have. The problem is it does sound a little dated, and it's followed by the Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders, but still a classic, Mike. I'm gonna put it on the lower end.
It's
but I kind of already had it like a 4.5, Mike. It's not like I had it in some sort of like awful place. Like that shit sucks.
It's one of those things, man, where it's like you have to also put yourself in that place and time, and it's like it was nothing that sounded like it. Especially during the time where everybody was using James Brown loops and James Brown breaks. And this was fresh, new. And obviously, you had 3 Feet High and Rising out there. But this was a little different,
And 3 Feet High and Rising is better too, Mike, than People's
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think I would
Okay.
listen to People's Instinctive before it because of the massive songs that are on it.
They're always more fun than De La, though. Like
Yeah,
they're always more fun than De La. De
just like
La's always
Outkast is more fun than Goody Mob.
right.
Speaking of
Right.
which, is that going to take us into the next subject?
What is the next subject?
no,
Are we done here? Hold on, no, real quick, no. Before
no,
we
no,
go,
no, no, no.
because we really didn't get into what we thought it would sound like in terms of like, what are you expecting? Like you. So you feel like West Side's Part Two is about to be an album of the year contender,
Oh,
obviously.
definitely.
I
This
would
is what
concur.
I'm expecting. I'm expecting Pray for Paris level. That doesn't mean that it's gonna be better than Pray for Paris or anything like that, but just on a focus level, I'm expecting it to be at that level and possibly his second best effort. The fact that he said, and we both agree that side A, that's a 4. He said this shit is way better.
Okay,
He
so
said this. He's
no.
heard the music.
So I got a couple of questions for you. Because okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and qualify this. When you say you're expecting Pray for Paris levels, do you consider to be our current album of the year, KD2 Pray for Paris levels?
No, I don't. And
So you're immediately saying by saying what you're saying that Westside Gunn's about to drop the album of the year next week because you're saying it's going to be better than KD2.
yeah, I think so. I
Okay,
think
so
so.
Mike, what I'm trying to express to you is that truly I think what you're saying is that if he does that, he will have. I mean, in my opinion, if he makes an album better than KD2 next week, that will mean he's made two of the best three rap albums in the last 5 years, and probably executive produced the album that I would have in the fifth position from a king to a god. Because it's not like KD2 isn't like nothing to sneeze at per se. Wouldn't
This
you
is
say?
the thing. And it's interesting he said this in his interview because I really think that, some of his people or him himself listen to our show and listen to some of our conversations, right? I think that
Oh, I know they watching.
and Westside, he brought up Kanye West when he said, basically no one ever brings up Kanye West in the MC category or whatever, best MC or whatever, but Kanye's probably the greatest curator, culture driver that we've ever seen. That's what I'm trying to do. And you
Mike,
look
when
at
did he say
somebody
that?
like him with
No,
the
Mike, when did he say
catalog the
that?
way he has and the catalog that Kanye has, the only person we could compare what he's doing to is Kanye if he comes and delivers in this way. You know what I mean?
Who? When did he say that?
Like yesterday or today or something. It's the new interview.
Really?
Yeah.
Mike, that's crazy because I can't even front about the sentiment that you made with the versus stuff that we're going to get to. I pulled up like all yays, like everything yay. And Mike, like, we got to have a greatest artist of all time
He
conversation.
is. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it.
Are
Kanye
you going
West
to
is.
let me finish talking? It
Go
would be nice
ahead.
if I could finish saying what I had to say, Mike.
It was in my mind. Go ahead.
Because I mean, and we're about to get off into it, and if it's
Yeah.
where you want to go next, when we can, I was just looking. I'm like, okay, like this shit's stupid. That's my bad. And even though I got somewhat levels of issues with Donda, like on a musical level and fundamentally some of the things that he's done, Mike, when I just pulled up everything today, and I was just like, well, he's not a better MC than Rakim or Nas or Big or Jay or Scarface or Ghostface or Kiss or Kendrick, but it's like, but damn. And I'm
Listen.
gonna tell you why, because I got somebody that I actually want Kanye to do a versus with, and it's gonna let you know at what level I think that he's actually at when I say his name, because I was like, oh, that's actually the real verses when I look at it, if we're talking artist for artist. So
I agree with you. And see, I kind of did similar things, but you know what I did? I was thinking about records. I was like, you know what? People want Kanye to do this versus with Drake, and all that stuff to me is fabricated, made up bullshit, right? Because when Kanye plays a record like 2 words, what's Drake gonna play? You know what I'm saying? Like started from the bottom or something. Like, come on. But
no,
what I
I
would
got
want to see, what I would want to see from Kanye though, I would like to see Kanye go out there and just play a bunch of songs that never got released. That's some of his most brilliant work. Chain Heavy is one of his most brilliant pieces of work. Bittersweet Poetry is brilliant. The original Home with John Legend. I was upset when he put that version of Home on
No.
Graduation, the one that people like so much with Chris Martin. I never liked that because the
So,
original one with John Legend is crazy.
so Mike, I literally have probably like 100 songs over here that Kanye either made himself or produced, and like Home ain't on this list.
Home is
So,
fucking
really.
ridiculous. Yeah, that's one of my favorites that never saw the light of
No, I'm
day.
talking about like the one that came out. That ain't on this list, Mike.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, the
And
original. It was another one that got cut from. Oh, this is the one. You remember Q-Tip was on Red Bull Conversation, and he played a song that he produced. It was supposed to be on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, My Mother's Boyfriend. That song is brilliant.
that
He
shit
has
crazy.
songs that have never seen the light of day. That if he
Hey,
played those in a versus setting, people would be like, "What?"
hey, Mike, the stuff Q-Tip knows, like the behind the scenes stuff, like I want
Bruh.
him to like, yeah,
Somebody was like, "Yo, somebody steal Q-Tip's laptop right now."
Mike, Fed's coming to get you, Mike. Especially after he lost all them records in the fire. Like, nah, he ain't playing no
Oh,
more
nigga, I
ever
forgot
again.
about that.
Mike,
I
never forget
forgot
about
about
that.
that.
Never forget
No,
about
because I
that.
always think about the RZA flood, but yeah, that
Mike,
fire, yeah, that's
Mike,
crazy,
for real, it's
man.
probably one of the few times that I truly, truly felt like inside for a hip hop artist where I was like, no, that's some sad shit. It has nothing to do with death in this business. Like, it
It's
was
sad, man. It really is. And